if they thought Christian and they wanted the country to be explicitly Christian, they would have explicitly said so. And like, I think that's why you guys have to read into it. That's why you guys have to read it into it.
I got to stop you.
A Jew telling you to read between the lines.
I have read a lot of the foundational documents, and they would have explicitly written in Christianity.
When he asked you about 3, 4, and 5, could you have read them out? Do you know what they are?
No, not explicitly. Not explicitly. But that doesn't. I'm not rejecting.
You don't know the amendments you're talking about. Everyone else at the table
rejecting the religious influence on our founding documents. I'm saying they would have explicitly.
Tim, you've done it again. You found the only stupid Jew.
Moral.
My favorite. Guys, hold on.
Why don't you think they would have included Christian in the code of moral?
We found the only retarded. Sorry, I didn't mean that. Sorry. I know I'm not supposed to say that. Sorry.
Let's pause real quick. Real quick.
In 2024.
I never know.
When they say a good and moral people, they believe that other religions are immoral because that was the standard.
Including yours.
The standard back then. That was
the
phrase. Excuse me. Just because I know that you are a recovering libertarian, my dear friend Phil. That's not the expression. The expression is a moral and religious people.
Fair enough.
And the religion is Christianity.
Now I want to pause. My favorite amendment is Amendment 7. Okay.
What's Amendment 7?
Off the top of my head, I can't tell you. How about you tell us, Milo? Stop, Tim. How about you tell us, Milo?
Well, he's a British guy.
Wait, no. Let's hear it. Milo's willing to call me out on knowing it, not knowing it.
I don't know what it is.
Milo doesn't have a shit. Doesn't know either. He'll complain about Dr. Oz being a dual citizen. He's only a British citizen, so it's really rich.
I'd like to open up to anybody else.
So
who
funny,
knows?
Milo.
Any of you guys know this? Okay, Elaad, please. Guys, does anybody else want to take a strike at the 7th Amendment?
I don't know off the top.
I don't know anybody.
No one knows this one.
Nobody knows the 7th.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't matter. The 7th Amendment matters, sort of. It's the right to jury trials in civil cases, so long as it's over $20. Now, here's the funny part. Back then, $20 was nuts. Today, $20 ain't nothing. So there is a dramatic change in what that amendment means based on inflation and Federal Reserve policies, which I find hilarious. That being said, Elaad, there are numerous writings. Now, I will stress this. There were some founding fathers who were deist. They believed in God. They didn't follow Christian moral teachings. But your argument is a classic and incorrect argument, which doesn't actually look into the letters, the writings, the books. What you're saying is, why didn't they explicitly state this?
I mean, it's in the
Declaration
of Independence.
It's the fish and water argument. Okay. So let me start you here.
I think they were purposefully inclusive. The founding fathers were purposefully inclusive.
How about I finish?
Sure.
Do you know how air was discovered?
Do I know? It wasn't officially ever discovered.
Yes, it was. You are completely incorrect.
Air was discovered. Okay.
You are completely incorrect.
When was water discovered?
Air.
Please don't make this guy your White House correspondent. My God in heaven.
When was zero discovered?
It was a concept. It kind of always existed. It was
no. Oh my God!
It didn't always exist.
No, it did not.
Humans did not have a concept of zero. It was discovered. Humans did not know that air existed. They thought there was nothing here. It was the ether. There was an energy that you could feel. And then one day, some dude, they used to use these bronze orbs with holes in them and a straw. They would dunk it in water, put their thumb over the back, lift it up, and put it over themselves. One guy goes, "Hey, what happens if I put my thumb over the back and then put it in the water?" Hey. No water went in the little ball.
Something must be displacing.
Something is displacing the water. And then he said, guys, I got an idea. And that's when we discovered there was actually matter and mass all around us. Why didn't they write about air? It was in them and around them 24/7. There's no reason for the founding fathers who were 99.9% Christian to say, and don't forget, we're all Christians in this room, right? Let's write it down.
Except him also to say,
it is there in
the Declaration of Independence.
Countries that does happen.
It is there.
It
in all of the founding documents, God is actually present as well. It's just that they don't feel the need to say it in every clause.
But they never mention Jesus, and there's no mentions to Christianity. Just allusions to moral and religious people. I think John Adams is smart enough that if he meant explicitly Christians, he would have said Christians specifically.
I guess he did.
Moral and religious.
He did. You just haven't read any Adams.
No, you're
Elaad,
wrong. You're British. You think you know a lot more about American politics than you do.
How come our law books don't explicitly state that it only applies to humans?
Why do you, I don't think these are like I don't think these are.
Is it because we assume, as all humans, we're not applying laws to dolphins?
In American courtrooms, until
fact,
very,
dogs are
very
exempt from these
recently,
laws.
until very, very recently, in criminal trials in American courtrooms, what book do you swear on so that everyone knows you're telling the truth?
I think it's your own religious
Is it-
book.
is
So
it the
whatever
Talmud?
religious book? I think if you're
Is it the Bhagavad Gita? Is it the Dead Sea Scrolls? No, it's the Bible. Grow up.
Do you know what percentage of this country right now is Christian?
depends on how you define it, but at least 60,
No, it
70%.
doesn't. It's
Yeah, it does.
self-reported in
I don't know.
surveys.
Are you discriminating between
It's about
Christians,
70
Catholics, which denominations?
No, they're all
They're
Christians.
all Christians.
Okay,
It's in
70%,
surveys.
give or
It's about
take.
70%.
Yeah, okay.
Right.
And
It's a
if you-
Christian country.
And do you know what that number was in like the 60s?
Probably closer to 90.
Did you hear that?
99?
Did you hear that? Did you hear that? Congratulations.
If you go
Be
back,
nice to the your ruling elites, you know.
if you go back even 50 years, this country is
Might
about
serve you better.
95% Christian. If you go back 100, it's 100% Christian. There's very few people who weren't. Maybe some immigrants from Asia were, Buddhist or Confucianist or whatever.
And they would
There-
never have been
there are some
imagined that they
there are
would have been running
Muslim
for president.
countries who, despite being 99% Muslim, still decide to enshrine their religious law explicitly. Islam
But they're not
explicitly
America, and
in their
that's not what America did.
Okay. Okay. Did they do it in Britain at all? Did they?
Let me ask you a question.
Is Britain a Christian country? I'm not sure. Maybe you could tell us about Britain instead of America.
Yes.
King of
So
England
the
is the
monarchs-
head of the Church
just
of
to-
England.
I don't know. That's why I'm asking the British guy, not the American citizen.
I can't believe you don't know this, but the British monarch is also the head of the Church of England, which is the Anglican Church.
Yeah.
So Canterbury Cathedral has an archbishop who is the sort of religious, if you like, the chief executive in corporate terms. And in corporate terms, the president of the board, the chief of the board, is the monarch. So if you are an English monarch, you have to be an Anglican because they are also the head of the church. Because the English church is an established church. So a disestablishment, which happened in 1776, is where you divorce religion from the state technically, right? And the reason it happened in 1776 is because if you're going to cast off the British king, you have to do something about the religion, because you can't be sort of paying obeisance to the head of your own religion when you've just deposed him as the head of your state. Okay.
Well, Malo, I apologize.
why-
It's truly
well, I
easy to
haven't-
confuse you guys for a British country or a Muslim
Elaad,
majority
I haven't
country.
quite
rather.
finished.
Elaad,
I haven't quite
I have a
finished,
question for you.
but-
Do you want to finish?
Well, just simply to say that when the Washington National Cathedral, for instance, right, which is an Episcopalian church, the Episcopalian branch of Protestantism was invented basically to mirror high Anglicanism in Britain, is a clone of Canterbury Cathedral, and there's a reason for that, because the Episcopalian Church was basically, and Washington National Cathedral was created to be a parallel and almost identical religious institution. And that is when Washington National Cathedral, that's where the presidents get buried. That's where things happen in American public life. All those things where, you see all the presidents lined up and someone's being buried. It happens in Washington National Cathedral, which is an Episcopalian Christian church. That is the national church of this country.
So, Elaad, I got a question for you about the Second Amendment. Do you know what it is?
Yeah, the right to keep and bear arms. I know
Can
that
you
one,
recite
Milo. Necessary to the security of a free state.
Let's start from the beginning.
Roughly,
You're just being
I'm
mean
messing
now.
up.
You're being
Necessary-
mean now.
No. I'm not being. Hold on.
You're being cruel.
I am not being mean.
This is the one I know.
This is my point. And it's
Necessary to
not,
the
it's not to put him on the
security-
spot to say, you can look it up. I don't care.
I'm not looking it up.
A well-regulated militia
Wait,
being-
all right, well, you got the well-regulated. I forgot that part. A well-regulated militia necessary to the security of a free state. The right to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed.
The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. What does it mean? Why did the founding fathers want that written in? What was their intent?
I think the attitude of the country at the time was of rebellion, and they were thinking that they needed to maintain being armed.
He wanted to continue the state of rebellion. Makes total sense.
No, well, they saw the tyranny that existed when they weren't armed, and they wanted to give the ability and the God-given right.
Why didn't they write that? Why didn't they include that in the amendment?
The God-given part?
Why didn't they write everything you just said down?
Because they spoke in lawyer talk and not.
So just one sentence. So, but clearly, if their intent was rebellion, they would have included for these purposes to oppose.
Well, a well-regulated militia, I guess, to prevent. I mean, that part could be argued. That.
Why didn't they write it down?
The whole thing?
Why didn't they write down what you're saying?
They were quite prolix people. I mean,
Because
they
there
were-
are
they wrote many thousands.
there
wait,
are
Milo,
more
hold on.
implications that aren't explicitly laid out.
Elaad, the point is this.
You mean implications that aren't explicitly laid out, like moral and religious people, meaning Christian?
This is my
No,
point.
I don't think those are like
Elaad.
kind. Still, I still don't think
This
these
is
are
my
like kind
point.
comparisons, though.
You're asking why they didn't write Christianity in a Bible when they were all Christians and assumed everyone was. And you're also stating that there are things they meant that they did not write down later. So which is it? Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.